Firstly, I'd like to introduce Sarah Richardson, our admissions manager. Sarah, can you just wave out? Say hello. Oh, I think Sarah might have just popped off.
Sorry, Matt, I'm here. Good morning, everybody.
Terrific. Thank you, Sarah. Next is Anna Cheisnick, our infant care coordinator.
Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Perfect. We've got Mr. James Holmes, our deputy head of early years.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. It's great to have you here.
And last but certainly not least, Ms. Aromi Dasanayak, our esteemed head of early years.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome. So, a little bit about ourselves. The Early Learning Village is one-of-a-kind place for young children. We all know that it takes a village to raise a child, so we built one. Mr. James will take you through the level 2 playground, the swimming pool, the parent cafe, and a few classrooms in level 5. While Miss Anna will tour you through our infant care facilities and our multi-purpose rooms on the ground. I will take you to our early years library and our pre-nursery and nursery pods. So I'm going to pass it over to Mr. James Holmes, who is in the playground right now, to tour you around. See you soon.
Thank you, Aromi, and hello again, everyone. So you join me here now on our level 2 playground, which is called the Green. So I'm just going to turn my camera around to hopefully give you a little bit of an experience and you can see just what it's like. So here at the ELV, we have 3 separate purpose-built play spaces. These playgrounds, through adventurous play, combine art and music, sand and water. And at every level, they encourage self-directed exploration, as well as sensory inspiration. Now, we believe that this combination creates a safe and fun environment for learning for children, as well as helping them to develop into confident and young learners. So as I walk around the Green, you can see the different zones in which children can play with natural elements. So we have here a sand desk, a water channel, a splash table, which absolutely delight the senses. And whilst active play unfolds on the obstacle courses, it all comes together in the main play structures. So I'm just going to slowly pan around and share some of this with you today. Now, our 3 separate playgrounds, which are spread across 3 levels, are all shielded from the sun by an 85% UV protected roof structure, which you can see just above me now. So we believe that through play, children develop social and cognitive skills and they gain the self-confidence to explore the world around them. And one of the things I love about our play spaces here in the Early Learning Village is the way in which they believe and support our belief in the importance of play. So a typical class of children playing in one of the spaces, they'd be encouraged to take their shoes off, to run, to explore, to interact and to take new risks. For example, as you can see, climbing up these tall structures here, these mounds at different levels, and take new risk in this environment, which is also safe, supportive and encouraging too. So as I move now from the Green playground, I'll show you our parent cafe, which is located directly off this play space. So in normal times, we would see this place bustling with people, with parents enjoying a coffee after dropping their child off to school and perhaps socialising with their friends, new and old. So currently with our safe management measures, we are unable to invite parents on campus to dine here, but we hope to reconnect this way very soon. And there's our wonderful Miss Yonthi who works here in the cafe just there. Okay, I'm going to keep moving along level 2 here now. To my left, before I show you our swim hub, I'll point out that our administration offices are located here as well. So here you'll find Aromi, myself, Anna, as well as Mr. Eduardo close by. There's Mr. Eduardo, hello. All right, moving along now to our swim hub. So along with our outdoor play decks, we have a purpose-built 20-metre swimming pool with lanes for beginners, intermediate and advanced swimmers. And the Swim Hub is run by our team of swim instructors who all hold Australian accreditation. At AIS, we cater for babies through to World Cup elite athletes and everything in between. So this fully customisable facility is also sheltered by the same UV protected roof, which you saw earlier on our level 2 green playground. It also utilises built-in teaching ledges in our 8 by 20 metre pool. And our children are very familiar with the pool environment as they pass it every day and see other children playing in the pool. Our water quality is second to none, and we adhere to both Australian and Singapore standards, whilst digitally testing the water 4 times a day. Now, I'm going to just move back to give you a little bit of context to where I've come from. And as you can see, we have one of our P2 classes that have just joined us on our play space today. I'll give you one last look at the green before I move on and pass you over to Miss Aromi. We've got... Thank you, Miss Aromi.
Thank you, Mr. James. That was beautiful to see the classes coming to the green. So right now I'm in the library. So each week, the children will join their class in the library lesson. During these sessions, the librarians will read 1 or 2 books together, and then the children are invited to explore the library and to select books to bring home. We are reading for enjoyment. In the library, we encourage children to make their own book choices. The educators are always there to support and guide your child, should they need help, but most of the time they don't. So we do find this as the highlight of most children's weeks because they love the freedom to choose their own book. During non-COVID times, we do encourage parents to come in because they love spending time in the library in the morning, and then they get the opportunity to borrow books on their own. So during Book Week, we have a series of events, including author visit, book fairs, dress-up days, whereby children and teachers are invited to dress up in their favorite book character. This is always a fantastic day as we get to admire and celebrate the efforts that has been put into the costumes. Throughout the year, we have other dress-up days such as the Chinese New Year Day, Chinese New Year, Australian Day, and the National Day. These dress-up days are well supported in the libraries across the school with displays and resources on hand for children and teachers to borrow. Now I'm going to take you to a very special corner where we celebrate the people from around the world. So multiculturalism is a term of great relevance to today's global context. With over 50 different nationalities representing our student population, we thrive on celebrating each other's culture and learning from each other. Last term, we celebrated the 19th International Cultural Experience Day, or AIS Day, an annual campus-wide festival that brings together the diversity. Now, this event is packed with cultural workshops, performances, and food from around the world. The theme of the event is immediately visible at the start of the day, as students and teachers enter the school dressed in colorful ethnic attire. So now I'm going to pass you to Miss Anna to talk about infant care. See you soon.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Infant Care. I'm just going to turn my camera around so you can see better. All right, here's the pod. So here we cater to babies 2 months old to 18 months old, at which point we help them transition to pre-nursery. But before this happens, we get to enjoy them and watch them learn and grow into confident little explorers. Our program is based on the philosophy of love, care, and respect. And we work in partnership with parents to assure that our environment here is the extension of your home. We strive to take care of your baby just as you would. And for this reason, we have elaborate boards, which I'm going to show you now, with all the detailed information on each child's preference. So here you go. This is how we keep track of your preference for your child and your child's preference for their routines and rituals. We also work with families who would like a little bit more guidance. So looking around the classroom, you will notice areas where older toddlers can thrive. For example, here where they can climb, and where the littlest babies can feel safe, slightly away from the commotion. The curriculum grows with the child as we observe and set up the spaces according to individual needs. Each class is a mixed age group because it benefits children's social development, and they get to care for each other and learn from each other as siblings do. We have 2 classrooms and 2 sleep rooms, but for our busy little people, we also have additional spaces where they can be little agents of their own learning. So let's visit the outdoor space, the outdoor balcony, where we have 2 sand pits and water play. Now, please excuse the messy spaces. They are a great testimony of the fun we've had here today. We are currently washing the provocation, which we set up with a shaving foam today. There was some water play as well. We also made friends with the dinosaurs. And here is where children enjoy their meals. And later on, in about an hour, we'll be having our lunch. But some of our friends are currently playing in the level 1M. Into the pod, I'm going to show you. We just came from here, but we're going to visit it and look at it in more detail. So you can see that we have repurposed this space as an extension to our classroom. This is a perfect space for children who want to practice walking, crawling, or climbing. We also have a calming sensory room. Welcome. And it's a really lovely space where children get to enjoy lights and lasers and sounds. They absolutely love spending time here. Now, moving down the pod, you can see one of the sleep rooms. We have 2 of those, but we do have some little dreamers sleeping inside. So maybe let's not disturb them today. We're going to move on to our catering room. Let's see if the lunch is here. So inside, there is a brown box. So the lunch has not yet been delivered. We are still waiting. It does arrive closer to 11 a.m. This is a kitchenette area where parents can leave the breast milk in the breast milk fridge, unpack children's snacks and bottles. And as I am on my way to level 1M, we will stop by the display of our team bios. So you can have a look at the 8 warm hearts and the 16 cuddling arms that are here to care for your precious baby. Now, as I'm heading downstairs, I'm going to hand you over to Miss Iromi. Miss Iromi, are you ready?
That's right. Thank you, Miss Anna. So I'm in the possum pod and the kangaroo pod. So we have 4 classes in our nursery pod. Okay, let me open the door. Right. Most children start their day around 8:15 and the pickup time is around 3 p.m. We offer extended care of all those working parents, which goes until 6 p.m. So from the displays and the way the classrooms are arranged, we are a Reggio-inspired school. We work in partnership with the children, and the children is at the heart of the learning process. Teachers facilitate learning and we follow their interest. So we create, you could see, we create interactive and inspiring learning environments, a place where children are encouraged to take risks, to explore, and to be in control of their learning. Let you have a look of our displays. We recognize children as unique individuals, celebrating their voice and interests while making learning visible and meaningful through authentic documentation. I'm going to go out to our balcony spaces. We communicate authentically. We speak in our authentic voices. We use real words and talk about real things. We encourage our learners to build that beautiful, authentic relationship. We encourage our learners to build their communication skills by asking questions and giving them plenty of time to respond, and always acknowledging their wanderings and ideas. So you can see our little friends playing outside, and you can see the sand pits that are set up as well. Okay. See that all the doors are locked because health and safety is our priority. So we encourage uninterrupted, self-directed play by offering them the opportunities, and by creating the environment, we allow children to problem solve. So you could see a little kitchenette similar to the one in infant care. Now, we understand the power of modeling, and we recognize that our children are learning from us through our every word and action about love, about empathy, about honesty. Now, most of us are familiar with the importance and benefits of routines. Routines bring predictability, comfort, and security, while rituals, on the other hand, are a little bit different. So now you could see the Possum 4 classroom getting ready for lunch. Lunch is served to children in the early years, and our dedicated nutritionists and chefs bring food to life through their passionate work and carefully creating menus. Now, I'll take you up to the sleep area. We consult with our families about the children's sleep and rest times and their rituals around sleep. Educators are sensitive to each child's needs so that the sleep and rest times are a positive experience. Okay, I'll give you a little sneak peek of our friends enjoying some sensory play. Hello. Hello. Oh, thank you. So that's beautiful. See you soon. Bye. You, Mr. Jim.
Thank you so much, Mr.
I think
Romy.
I might stay.
Okay, I hope everyone has got me now. So here you join me on level 5. And I thought I'd give you a little bit of context as to the layout of the lift lobbies and what it looks like to actually access the pods in which you're seeing today. So before I take you inside our platypus pod, I'll just show you around a little bit and show you how each floor is easily accessible by lift and has a lobby which leads, as I said, to the different pods on each floor. I'm going to just turn my camera around so you can see. So another important note is to point out is the fact that all our pods are named after Australian animals. And as you can see from the markings here on the floor in level 5, we have our bilby pod, which is to my left, and to my right, we have our platypus pod. So our pods are secured throughout the day, and I'll need to use my access card to gain entry. Now, in normal non-COVID times, parents would have access to your own child's pod. However, currently our 3- and 4-year-old students are dropped off and greeted downstairs by their teachers on level 1. This is in line with our safe management measures, of course, to try and minimise any possible contact or exposure across our community. So here I am at the entrance to our platypus pod, okay, which is home to some of our 3-year-old friends. So I'm going to show you the pod space, some of the classrooms, as well as the outdoor spaces that complement and extend each classroom. So as I enter today, I'm going to need to swipe my access card here. Okay, now that will allow me entrance to the pod. So the ELV's design and intent is all about community and relationships, which you've heard a lot about today. A place where lasting friendships for both children and adults are built. And as I enter this pod, I hope that you can gain a sense of the community that's been created here. So Aromi shared with you a little bit about our Reggio Emilia inspired curriculum in the early years, and I'd like to speak to you about our inquiry-based program, which is introduced from 3 years old. So the PYP, or Primary Years program, is a curriculum framework that places the child at the centre of the learning and is offered here at AIS for students aged 3 to 12 years old. Students are the agents of their own learning and are partners in the learning process. And by learning through inquiry and reflecting on their own learning, students develop knowledge and conceptual understanding. Now, by this, we mean that children move past surface level understanding so that their knowledge can be transferred and applied across different areas. We also teach children to develop different skills and important attributes that help them make a difference in their own lives, their communities, and beyond. So what does all this mean for a 3-year-old? Well, let's take a look. Going to head inside our Platypus 2 classroom today. Okay, now Platypus 2 have just left us and they've gone off to their music specialist class, and I'll speak a little bit about that towards the end. So currently our 3-year-old students are exploring the theme, how we express ourselves, through the big idea of how artists explore and use a variety of materials. I'm going to show you this display, which is on the classroom wall, which highlights some of the things that I've just spoken about. So you'll see a range of provocations set up around the classroom, which invite students to explore and ask questions, to create, to make connections to their prior understanding. And these opportunities to inquire are supported by the teacher facilitating the learning through questioning, documenting, and reflecting with the children. I'll move around and just show you some of the displays on the wall which highlight these things that I've just mentioned. We have some other provocations which are set up here for the students that connect to the current unit, which I've just spoken about. Now, it would be remiss of me to not highlight the intentional teaching that occurs on a daily basis. This includes creating a learning environment that is rich in materials and interactions, with opportunities for children to practice choosing, thinking, negotiating, problem solving, as well as many other tasks such as taking risks. Now, it involves the teacher actively joining in children's play and tuning in and problem solving together, responding to their views and their ideas, as well as modelling. Our teachers also focus on early literacy and numeracy, with the power of play being the driving tool for this learning. Now, I'm just going to highlight one of the child-sized doors, which I absolutely love about the design of our building. So each classroom contains a child-sized door and an adult-sized door. Now, back to talking a little bit about literacy and numeracy. So this for young children is not necessarily things like stenciled letters, counting practice at group times, writing practice, reciting the alphabet, or pasting pre-drawn letters and numbers. It's important for the learning to reflect a child's age and stage of development. For example, oral language is a significant aspect of early literacy. This includes conversation, listening to others, making up stories, songs, rhymes, dramatic play, and much more. Now, we also offer a program in all our 4-year-old classes called Pre-Lit. This is a skills-based program that lays the foundation for children to learn to read. It's evidence-based and it focuses on phonological awareness, which is the awareness of and ability to work with sounds in spoken language, as well as oral language development through structured storybook reading. As I move through the Platypus pod, hopefully you can begin to see these things in context. I think one of the wonderful things that I love about the learning spaces here is both the differences and the similarities that children experience. Of course, their own classroom community may be set up differently to their friends next door, but the similar and familiar layout of the pods help children as they move through the early years and into the elementary school. The pods all have similar features, including a kitchen with child height access, as you've seen so far today. They have toilets, pod libraries, and spaces for the learning to flow out from their own classroom, which I love the way in which Anna showed that beautifully for you earlier. Now, below me on level 4 are our 4-year-old students, and on level 3, our prep or kindergarten students who belong as part of the elementary school. Now, we believe that all these factors help contribute to the success of our transition programs from one year to the next. I'm showing you here our pod library space here in the platypus pod, continuing with some of the displays on the walls. So currently, this term, our 4-year-old teachers in P4 are working with the prep teachers, so students who are 5 or 6 years old. You might refer to this as kindergarten. They are working together to facilitate the transition program for those students who'll be joining the elementary school in 2022. Now, this involves regular catch-ups between classes over the term, as well as opportunities for students to ask questions, to see what a day in prep looks like. We also provide sessions for parents to learn more about the transition, as well as extra support for those students who may benefit from this. Now, before I hand things back over to Anna down on the mezzanine level, and speak to you about our specialist program, it's a great opportunity for me to give you a really quick snapshot into a Mandarin class with our 3-year-olds. So I'm going to enter the classroom now and give you a taste of what that's like.
没有，我不害怕了，因为现在我的爸爸很害怕。为什么爸爸害怕？
So our specialist program, aside from having fully qualified teachers across the early years, our specialist program is led by our team of qualified specialist teachers. So students are offered Mandarin 4 times a week, PE and music twice a week, and library and inquiry once a week. These are all 40-minute sessions and are a valuable part of the program in which we offer. So I think that's enough talking from me today. I'm going to hand you over now to the wonderful Anna, who's going to join you from our mezzanine level. Have I got you there, Anna?
Thank you, James. Yes, I'm here. I made it to level 1M, where each room is named after a flower. And I was so lucky to actually chance upon my babies, who usually travel in this lovely 6-seater. And you can see them inside. Hello. I do miss them so much, but I am going to take you to the hive now. So the hive is essentially like a big gym. The large space invites children to engage in cross-motor skills, and the specialist teachers design the experiences with children's developmental needs and goals in mind. So I'm going to give you a little sneak peek as to what is happening in the hive. Like a ton of fun, doesn't it? So what children are doing here is develop fundamental movement skills for hitting and striking. They have various stations where they actually engage in different aspects of those skills, while they are also working in teams, which is a crucial social skill aspect of the activity as well. We'd love to stay and watch some more, but we do have a couple more rooms to view. On the way there, you're going to see the documentation on the walls. As we pass, you'll see that this is a lovely way of showcasing the children's learning, as well as giving them a voice and maybe revisiting some of their ideas.
Just Anna, could you just get a little closer to the phone? Your volume's a little quiet. Oh,
okay, no problem. Is this better? Is
Just go again. It is a little bit.
It might be because of the Wi-Fi. Yes, it might be because of the Wi-Fi.
Okay, thank you, Anna. Just carry on.
No problem. So walking by, you can see these wonderful, beautiful rooms set up in such a way that it invites children's curiosity. And of course, we have these, as James mentioned, designs such as windows and doors, which really help children take ownership of their learning. They feel invited. They feel like everything is on display and accessible to them. So that's very important, especially for the developing sense of agency. And where I'm taking you now is
Anna, if you could just check where your fingers are on your phone. It might just be on the mic.
Oh, they're on the side, but I have been losing connection.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yes, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Carry on. Wonderful.
Hopefully when I enter the steam room, it will be a little better. All right. So now onto the steam room, my favorite room to explore in. STEAM stands for experiences which involve science, technology, engineering, maths, and art. So we believe that the knowledge children generate from within stays around longer, and it renders better understanding. So we encourage them to be researchers and scientists. Let's have a look at one of the experiences that helps children explore and research and question. What we have here are the B-bots. These are robots which help children master the foundations of robotics. How exciting! So by pressing the buttons on the robot's back, children get to use their mathematical thinking, and they get to plan a route for the robot. So for example, make it go straight, or turn right, or left, or go backwards. It does require a lot of mathematical thinking and critical thinking and planning ahead. I would love to show you more, but I am fairly sure that I would spend the rest of the day playing in this room. So I will now hand you over to James and Iromi back in the office while I make my way up there to join you to answer some questions.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Anna. And thank you everyone for continuing to join us. So Romy and I have made our ways back into our offices on level 2. I think, do we have Sarah there? Are you there as well to help us with this part of the call today?
Thank you so much for showing us around the Early Learning Village, James and Anna and Romy. We'll now begin the question and answer part of the session. So if anybody has any questions for us, please pop them in the chat bar and we're happy to ask for you. Looks like we do have a question here, James. So I'll ask you that one if you're okay. So we've got a question here on how much time do the children spend outside daily?
That's a great question. So I'll speak in normal times, but also give you some context at the moment to COVID times as well. So in a normal school day, the children have lots of opportunities to be outside. So each class has a scheduled playground time. But as I said, that at the moment is due to COVID and we have to maintain our safe distance measures and avoid mixing classes. So at the moment, the classes have some set times during the day that they can visit one of our various different playgrounds. In normal times, we love to give children the choice. So if your class needs to get outside and have a run around, that option's there for them to go out and explore. And hopefully you got a bit of an idea too from the tour through the outdoor spaces in the classrooms as well. They are always available for the students to explore and I guess, experience that side of things as well.
That's lovely. Thank you so much. And then the second part of that question is, we saw some lovely big screens in the classrooms. How much time do the children spend in front of the screens? What are they used for as well?
Sure. So I guess, keeping the idea of technology in the forefront of our minds, we do have access to those their interactive whiteboards. So teachers are able to utilize those in a number of different ways. It might be sharing children's work or sharing content with the class to explore together, to engage in discussions over, but it's certainly something that's done with a balance. So we wouldn't be seeing teachers all day and every day using the interactive whiteboards and having children on screens, but it certainly makes up part of what we do.
And I have to add, James, that we have a policy that we do not spend over 20 minutes per day. So the maximum number of minutes that a child could interact with the board or even inquiring into something would be less than 20 minutes using an interactive whiteboard. And we're very strict with that policy.
Thank you so much, Romy and James. And do you mind just sharing a little bit more about where our teachers come from? Are they native English speakers?
Okay, I'll go with this. We really look at their qualifications and if they are aligned with our philosophy. I think that's the main thing. And they do come from all around the world. We have teachers from Brazil, Ireland, the UK. Some of our teachers are from Australia, New Zealand, and of course from Singapore as well. Most of our teachers have studied in Australia, especially the Singaporean teachers have studied in Australia. They worked in Australia, so they bring that wealth of knowledge. We follow the early years learning framework, and they have worked in schools in Australia. So it really brings it's about that treasure chest, right? You bring people from all around the world with these amazing abilities to be aligned with our mission, vision, and values. So they're from all around the world.
Thank you. And thank you so much for the question, Anna. They're fantastic questions you've got there. Please keep the questions coming. If anybody would like some extra information on anything that we've covered today, we do have another question here, and this might be a good one for Anna to answer. We're just wondering, do the infant care children go outside to the playground or do they just explore inside the pod?
So infant care has a room assigned on level 1M, which we have set up and which you saw as we walked by. So that's the room where we explore gross motor skills, sort of our gym. We also have the sandpit areas outside of the classrooms. We have water play. We have the pod area, which is the extension of the classroom. We have a sensory room. There's really little to want for the little ones who are very busy, but we do also sometimes go to the playgrounds and explore there. Children do love a change of environment sometimes. So yes, we definitely do.
That's lovely. We love to see the children exploring. I see them sometimes when I'm walking around. It's very sweet. Now, James, I've got a question for you. Would you mind sharing with us a little bit more about the attendance options that the children can do at the school?
Absolutely. Yeah, sure, Sarah. So we have a range of different options to suit your needs. And I think that's a really valuable part of what we can offer. So we have 3-day options, 4-day options, 5-day options, and also half-day options for families to take up. So we really do try to cater for the individual needs of your child and the needs of your family too. Romy also mentioned our extended care program as well, which runs from the end of the school day until 6 p.m. If parents wish to utilise that service, they can. And adding to that as well, we have a holiday care program as well. So lots of different options to suit different family needs. And I think that's important for us to be able to work together and offer some of those things to best suit you.
That's lovely. And just a little bit more on that question, if you don't mind. Can the children enrol anytime throughout the year? And how does the settling in process work?
Great. I'm going to, Romy, would you like to take that one for us today?
Sure. Definitely, James. So children can be enrolled any time of the year. When it comes to the settling process, first and foremost, we really focus on building relationships with the parents. So when the child is enrolled, the teacher would invite the parents to have a virtual meet, or if they're available to come into the school, we invite them to come into the school and meet the teacher, because we really, really value those trusting relationships. And then when the child is dropped off on the first day, we always tell the parents to communicate to the child saying, I am going to leave you with Mr. James today, but I will be back to pick you up at 12 o'clock. It's very important. Like I said, they understand. And when you give the power, and I always say the child has a right to know where you're going. And when you give them that responsibility, then cognitively, they are trying hard to make sense of, okay, mommy is going to leave me with this person today. She seems to be trusting this person. So, okay, children are going to cry because you have that strong bond that you have already formed. So they are going to cry. But say that when you place that trust in the adult that you're handing over the child to, it becomes a much easier process. And having those conversations when you go home, what did you eat today? With whom did you play? Did you go to the playground? Just making it a fun experience really helps them settle.
Beautiful. Now we have another question here about settling in and the nap time for our pre-nursery students. So would you be able to share a little bit more about how the teachers support the children to fall asleep if they can't do that fully independently at pre-nursery age?
Definitely. So Miss Anna, you were a pre-nursery teacher before. Would you
Yes.
like to take? Yes.
I would love to speak about that. Yes. So for infant care, because we're going to talk about pre-nursery, which is on the clasp. We have children in infant care who up to 18 months old, and then 18 months and up, that's pre-nursery. So in infant care, we would copy or mirror your routines from home to make sure that children have that continuity. But towards that age of 18 months, we start to maybe switch children onto the schedule that pre-nursery has. So we try to give them one nap throughout the day. This happens over a long period of time in incremental steps. However, once they are in nursery, and let's assume that they are not coming from infant care, what you can do at home is prepare them for having that one nap in the day. In the beginning, we will be very flexible. And we will work with you very closely, give you some tips and tricks, and see what helps the child go to sleep, whether they like to be rocked, whether they like a certain book or a story before they go to sleep. So we do work with you very closely. However, we notice that children generally tend to follow each other really well, especially after the age of 18 months old. So when everyone is lying down, participating in that beautiful ritual of setting up the beds, washing your hands, preparing for sleep time, maybe reading a story before, they very quickly learn that these are the cues for your body to become sleepy, to become relaxed. So really, it just takes a little bit of time and working really, really closely together. But children do follow each other, and they are very social beings. So very quickly, they catch on.
Thank you very much, Anna. Now, Arumi, I've got a question here around the buses. And do we have a school bus that goes to the east area?
We do have buses that run all around the island, and our teaching assistants are at the to greet your children every morning. It's a very thorough process. We make sure that the children have their vests on, and we make sure that we buckle them in, and it's beautiful always to greet them and also to wave goodbye.
Thank you very much. And do you know which age the children can take the bus from?
Yes, so it will be nursery, not pre-nursery. It will be nursery and above.
Thank you very much. And do you mind sharing a little bit more about from what age the children start learning Mandarin in the ELV?
Definitely. From 18 months onwards, we have 4 Mandarin lessons, which run for 40 minutes. And the beauty of it is, with the safe management measures, we have a Mandarin teacher for each floor. So they are part of those beautiful routines and rituals. So even taking the child to the toilet, the Mandarin teacher would do it because it's part of their job, and they work as a team. So it's really beautifully immersed in their daily routines. Even like I said, even the Mandarin teachers would pick them up from the bus bay. So the little conversations that happen from the bus bay up to the classroom is really valuable.
Thank you so much for that. Now, just following on from the routines a little bit, what time do the children have for lunch, and what do they have for lunch? James was sharing a little bit about that earlier, so perhaps this might be a good question for James.
Absolutely. So lunchtime is generally around 11:30 to sort of 12, anytime in that period of the day. Now, again, you've heard a lot about the importance of routines and sitting down together and enjoying a meal, just like a family might. So that forms a big part of how we engage and eat lunch together. So our meals are fully a cooked meal each day for lunch, provided by our catering team, which operate here in the ELV. So each day there's a different menu, and menus are shared with parents across and families in our community across each month as well. So we try to incorporate a variety of foods and have a really diverse selection on the menu for our children to enjoy. Obviously, of course, we cater for dietary needs and requirements and tailor something that's specific to you and your child's needs.
Thank you very much for that. We've been talking a little about nursery, pre-nursery, preschool. Do you mind helping us understand a little bit more about the different ages of the children? So maybe a pre-nursery student versus a nursery student.
Sure. So pre-nursery would be 18 months to 24 months. And a nursery student would be 24 months to 36 months. The P3 would be the 3-year-olds, and the P4s would be the 4-year-olds.
Thank you very much. Now, Anna, I've got a question for you, if you don't mind. Could you just share a little bit more about our Story Park app and how that's used up in early years?
Yes, happy to share. So we do love our Story Park app because it helps parents manage their separation anxiety. As you know, it works both ways. So as much as children miss their parents, parents miss their children. And it also helps them understand a little bit what's going on in the classroom, what we've been doing that week, what are some special milestones that the child has achieved. So for infant care and nursery and pre-nursery, we log in the routines as well. So we would be sharing information on when the child's nappy was changed, how much they ate, at what time, when they went to sleep, when they woke up. So this all happens live. So as soon as the routine has been completed, it will be logged and it is available straight away to be viewed on the app. On the other side of it, on the academic side of it, we love celebrating children's little achievements every day. So for infant care, there would be an update called Our Week in Review, where parents can see what's going on inside the classrooms, which is so important, especially now in the times of pandemic, when parents do not come into the classrooms, but they can still see what's going on, get to know the child's friends, see the classroom, see the teachers. We often make videos and edit them so parents can have a lovely, little window into our day. For P2s, P3s, so these are children who are 3, 4, 5 years old and up. We also do individual stories, which will tell you a little bit in depth about what your child is interested in, how they approached the topic or the subject of inquiry that we were investigating in the classroom. What was their special understanding of that topic? So it's so versatile, but I think what I like most about it is that it allows us to communicate with the parents and extended families. So once we invite parents to Story Park, they become admins, and they can then invite, specialists who are working with the child outside of the school, our grandmas and grandpas and aunties. And we all do miss our families, especially now when travel is not really possible. So it's lovely for them to see how the child is doing and what they can do.
That's really helpful. Thank you very much, Anna. Now, please keep the questions coming. We've had some really amazing questions and we've got the experts here. So if you have anything, please feel free to ask away in the chat bar. We do have another question here. So this might be a good one for Miss Arimi. How do we help to prepare the children from moving from our early learning village through to elementary school?
That's a really good question, because our prep classrooms are situated in this building and we have a whole transition program that we run. So Mr. James is in charge of the transition program this year. I'm sure he will add on to more stuff that I say. The main thing is, again, building that beautiful relationship with the classroom teacher from the next year, right? So what our teachers do is they conduct virtual tours. The prep classroom teachers would read stories to the P4 children from this year. And I think it's mainly building those relationships, making sure that the children are comfortable. And we run a mini unit of inquiry. So we call it the prep transition mini unit of inquiry. The biggest questions that our children have is, how do I get from the bus bay to the classroom? Because right now we accompany them. So it's a really good question they ask. The second question is, do we still get hot meals served to us? Because the hot meals are only served from pre-nursery to P4. And then how do I make new friends? That's a big question they have, because they know that most of their friends will be moving or they'll get new friends throughout the year. So it's a beautiful inquiry that the children run, because we always say the children have a voice in all the decisions we make. So the children create this inquiry, they come up with the questions, and then we present it to the prep teachers. So the prep is the next year. We present it to the prep teachers who would beautifully answer those questions through provocations, like provoking the child's thinking through activities. So they'll set up provocations or they'll read a story. So it is a joint effort, because we are a big school, and that's the beauty of being in a big school. The child doesn't have to go to another school, learn the routines, learn the building. It's in the same building, which makes it really easy for the children. Mr. James, have I missed something?
I think you summed it up beautifully, Aromi. I mentioned it briefly when I was touring through P3, but just with regards to the transition program and the familiarity of the building itself and the space, prep, as Aromi mentioned, is just above us now on level 3. So it's one floor down for our P4 students. So they are familiar with what the classrooms look like, what the layout of the pods is, where to find the bathroom, how to access the playground, and even just playing on the playground spaces. So for students that have come through our early years program and move into the elementary school, there is those familiar experiences for them. But I think if you were to sum it up in one thing, it absolutely is about building those strong relationships and connections, and that also extends to our families too. And so I mentioned there also is a parent night for prep transition as well. So we do try to provide a lot of information and support along the way.
Sorry, may I also add one more thing that I just remembered from my time when I was teaching in P2, P3. And I remember having these meetings with teachers whom I was handing the children over to. And they would ask me all sorts of questions. What do they like? What are they interested in? So they would know to set that thing up in the classroom on the first day. So if I said, for example, oh, John is so interested in trucks and loves, let's say, playing with balls or drawing, then the teacher would make sure that that truck or somewhere to draw, something to draw on is in the classroom to facilitate that child's transition. So we do talk to each other as well, and we give each other very detailed handover notes.
Thank you so much, Anna. Now, we are running out of time, but we do have a few last-minute questions here, so we can help you run through those. Anna, you're asking about a little bit more information on the bus service. Now, all of our admission managers will be in touch with each of you after this, so of course we can follow up with some more information about the school bus service. We have a question here about whether the classrooms and pods have windows and natural daylight available to them.
Sure, I'm happy to answer that one. Yes, in short, yes. So all of the way in which our building's been designed, it is to provide a whole range of experiences for the children, but that natural light, of course, is important. So all of the classrooms, the way in which they're situated around the pods, do receive natural light. Our building's designed by Bogle Architects, award-winning architects, and you can find a little bit more information about that online, actually, that explains in regards to the design of the building. And I think one of the things about it, and Aromi mentioned, we are a big school and this is a big building, but the way in which it's designed allows us to lose that sense of the size and create the small community feeling as well within the building. So yeah, an important part of aspect of a classroom is having that light. Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Now, it looks like we have one last question here asking about, obviously things have been a little restricted due to the pandemic. Have we got anything that we can help introduce our new families to some of the current parents to build a little bit of a community here at the school?
With the pandemic, yes, it's a bit hard for the new families to really engage with other families. But then I think, Sarah, with the class list, you really get to chat with parents, and then people reach out. Everybody has been in these situations. And if I talk about 16 years ago, when I moved, I had a 4-year-old and I was looking for people to connect. So it's same way, everybody has gone through that journey. People are really looking to connect and really have those play dates after school, have a coffee with another parent. So class list is something that we would encourage every parent to get onto. It's that professional dialogue you can have about the classroom, about each other. And I would say the playground used to be the place where everybody used to socialize pre-COVID times, but saying that people have found different ways of socializing and getting to know each other. Anna, James?
Yeah, I was going to say another part to go along with the class list app is AISPA, which is our AIS Parents Association. And AISPA is a really wonderful group that help bring our parents together as well. So reaching out to a representative from AISPA, they can put you into contact with, people that might be having similar interests to you or speak your native language as well, and really connecting people in different ways. So both AISPA and the class app are really important, but I think so much of it's about those incidental contact and interactions as well. And I think I like to think that we're a community that's really warm and welcoming and open, and sometimes or often it's those incidental conversations that you have with someone that builds a connection and go from there. So yeah.
From experience, I can also add that I've had parents approach me about play dates. Then I would just do a little community post on the Story Park app and say, if you're interested, please drop me an email, and I would connect the parents who wanted to have play dates together. So yes, you can also approach the teacher. They might be able to help you.
That's absolutely wonderful, team. I'm very grateful for you all taking so much time out of your day and a wonderful tour around our early years. Thank you very much to our parents, our both current and future, for attending today. It's been wonderful. Our admissions team will reach out to each of you. You'll get a copy of this tour, which will be nice to share with perhaps another family member or parent that couldn't attend. And we can also answer any questions, and that's the point of today. So I'd like to say thank you to everyone. It's been absolutely wonderful. Enjoy the rest of your day. Terrific seeing you all.